Something you need to know about that's happening in early January. We know it's only October, but you need to put these things in front of you, because what happens is you get to January and you miss out. So we'll be talking about this. Actually, we'll start talking about it today, and then we'll just be dropping it in front of you, so it's. Well, I'm not going to call it what's in front of me, because we just had Donald Goodhall from Venn Foundation tell us let's not try and call it that. But I'm just talking myself around in circles. But good morning, Donald Goodhall from Venn Foundation. Good morning.
Kia ora, nice to be here.
Donald, can I ask, because you're quite a well-known person around the place, how long have you been without the dreadlocks?
Oh, man.
Which was your...
We're bringing up a sore point here,
Sort of an iconic look
Is it a sore point?
for a very long time.
I've had to go through a grief process, let's put it that way. It'll be coming up 2 years this Christmas.
Yeah, wow.
Yep.
Man.
Yep. So what's happened in recent times is, because I've got a twin brother, I don't know if you guys know that, but me and my brother are twinning hard out at the moment. So
did he have dreadlocks too?
No, he didn't. So
that was the
thing.
distinguishing
That's
factor.
The point. Yeah. So for about 20 years, we've been quite easy to distinguish.
Yeah,
this is Brian, this is Donald. No worries, everyone doesn't get confused. The last 2 years, man, it's just like any public event that we're both at. Who is this?
I'm trying to picture you with dreadlocks, because I didn't know that. And you know what I'm picturing? Tana Umanga, who we had in studio.
I wish.
We had him in studio last week.
You got the same build.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm stacked like Tana. Yeah. I play rugby like Tana.
Let's talk about the Venn Foundation.
Yeah.
Who are you?
We are a educational institution who really want to shape people's lives with a depth of scripture and the riches of Christian tradition. So we curate formational context where people can learn, people can dive deep into what scripture means for their lives, and kind of work that right from big ideas right through to what does that look like in your daily life. So we're really going after lives that are formed in Christ-likeness. Yeah. Do that in multiple kind of ways.
You put out some pretty nice-looking books and stuff too.
Oh, we do, don't we?
I've got to say, your book on Sabbath, very, very, very cool, which I've read through. Tell us about the Venn Summer Conference. So this is coming up January 10th to 17th. Yeah, this has been running for quite a while, right? Over 10 years?
Yeah, actually probably 20 years.
Wow.
So it's it kind of evolved from, I don't know if anyone remembers Compass Summer Conference, but it's been a continuation of that. So Venn, as it stands, it's run under the Venn umbrella for well over 10 years now. So, but there's a cope-up here that's been going for quite some time. It's been really helpful and fruitful for people's lives for well over a decade. So,
I want to get to the nitty-gritty of what people do and why the age group that you've actually trying to dial in here. But when you came in here, you said it is called the Venn Summer Conference, but it's more than a conference. And we're trying to come up with a name that sort of best describes this thing. Well, I've just come up with some names for you, Donald.
Okay, let's go.
What about the Venn Summer Gathering? Summit? You want to use Summit?
Summit becomes hard to say.
Summit.
Oh, okay.
That's good alliteration, though, let's be honest.
I don't know where this comes from, but conclave?
Oh, yeah. There's some history to that word that maybe takes
Sounds
us
a little
right
bit culty almost.
Yeah. Because it's more than a conference, right? That's what you wanted to get at.
That's the point. It's not really a camp, so it's not summer camp in one level. But when you say conference, you're thinking kind of hotel lobby. We're going into the hotel room. It's none of that either. So what it is it's a beautiful week. It's a week that's curated really thoughtfully, where participants will track the big story of Scripture, asking big questions about who is God, what does it mean to be human, all the way through to what does this mean for my life, and what does it mean for my life here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, actually? How do I live wisely? How do I be fruitful and participate in what God's up to?
Why have you dialed in on the age group of 18 and 30?
Well, we've got 3 lead programs at Venn Foundation, so we do a whole bunch of things. We create lovely looking books, but the content of those books is also good.
That's the real beauty.
Yeah, there we go. So we've got resources, we've got some short courses, but we've got these 3 lead programs, one of which is Summer Conference. And our lead programs kind of cover a variety of ages. So 18 to 30 is our Summer Conference. We have a residential fellowship, which is for people in their 20s, and then we have a vocational program, which goes beyond that. So with the short courses, we're offering kind of things across the age range. But for Summer Conference, we find targeted audience, 18 to 30, there's some big questions that need to be wrestled with in your young adult life or your emerging adult life. If we are to riff off that guy, Sam Bloor, I don't know if you guys know him. He likes to use that term, emerging adulthood.
That really is what it is, though, right? Because you come out of high school, you go into maybe university or work or whatever it is. Maybe you leave home for the first time. You start maybe getting into more serious relationships. A lot of stuff in your life is taking a turn.
Massive
You're
change.
expected to be an adult all of a sudden. Stop making the jokes you used to make. Be more responsible. All sorts of stuff changes. You get different ambitions and aspirations, and
then they've changed as well in the a year later. So it's a huge period of change. And for a lot of people, you might have grown up with faith or you come to faith afresh. There's big questions going on, especially as you hit your university years. If you start working, that raises even more questions. So it's big time in life to be asking the big questions. And so this is a chance for people to go after that.
Can you sit tight for a little bit? Because this is really interesting. I think a lot of people will be asking questions around, is this for me or not?
Yeah.
And I want to ask the impact of the conference on people who've actually attended as well. Testimonies are always really, really cool to hear.
Indeed,
and what they take away from it. So more from Donald next here at Life FM. Yeah, you joined us at just the right time. It's an awesome summer conference that's happening early January. I know it's only October, but we need to give you this information because we promise you spaces are going to run out. It's called the Venn Summer Conference, and it's here to talk about it is Donald Goodhall from the Venn Foundation. Good morning again, Donald. There's lots of questions that we need to ask you, man.
Can I lead in with a testimonial that I want to read? So this is from Dan, who went on the summer conference. I've been to a few conferences in my time, but nothing quite like this. It has encapsulated for me so much love and wonder and challenge and difficulty, but was also restoring. Every part is curated so beautifully, and I'm beyond thankful. Not exaggerating, this has been the most impactful week of my life. Thank you so much. I believe every young adult needs to experience this if they can.
Wow.
That's
pretty impressive.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could read that again. That's
Well,
sounds good, bro. I want to go.
That puts a big smile on your face. I mean,
does.
obviously, you probably know this guy and have heard that before, but what do people kind of come away with that you see? I mean, we were asking you about numbers before. You said about around 100 people will go on this together.
Yep.
What do they experience when they're there over this week, and what do they kind of come away with?
Yeah, cool question. I do know him, and I'm it does put a smile on my face because I've seen people kind of become alive, actually, through the week of summer conference. We've actually seen people who've come in slightly hunched over, or actually they look a little bit dehydrated, and they leave looking refreshed and
that's
upright.
awesome.
You can actually see change, physical change.
Just in the
people.
body language.
Yeah, you can, because there's something about being immersed in an environment of truth. And we believe scripture and karakia, and like there's something about paying attention to who God is, what kind of world God's made, the good news of Jesus, the infilling of the Spirit. We load up, like I can just keep going on with that list. But there's something about the environment that is full of truth and full of beauty and full of goodness, and you see people actually come alive.
What Bjorn read out there, that testimony is impressive for two reasons. One, because of the words that Dan uses.
Yeah, he's
but
pretty
two,
smart, eh?
But two, you can come away from something like that and someone would ask you, how was the Venn Summer Conference? And you'd say, man, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But to put it down on paper, to put it down in writing is actually, I think goes a long, long way. Back to the conference and the people who attend, is an individual turning up who is well into their journey of faith? Or do you get others who may be on the entry level of their faith?
Yeah, great question. We get a variety, and I think the variety is good. There's something great about someone who's been, tracking faith, from their childhood all the way through, and then now asking, how does this relate to my own life and my own sense of calling, whether it's vocation or whatever other big questions they've got. So they've got particular questions that fall out of that experience. But it's amazing to have someone who just became a Christian a couple of weeks back, or 2 years ago, pretty fresh in the piece, and they're asking different questions, or the same questions but with a different lens or a different experience on it. And I think some of the beauty of summer conference is the variety of stories that come into the room, and then the questions and the angles that creates for people, and the beauty of sharing life together.
Have you had an example of somebody who's come in who's just new to faith?
We've had examples of, I shouldn't say we had examples, we had people.
Yeah, sorry.
People, yeah, like individuals.
Specimens, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, we've had, I can think of one young woman who came in, she's pretty fresh in her faith. And what that did for her was it just immediately said about some of the beauty and the vision of the Christian life before her. It wasn't just, I've been saved and delivered, which she had been dramatically saved and delivered, but then she was able to, I think one of the things we're doing is we're helping people see the world as God is intended to see. And so really we're talking about vision. We're talking about, not that we would use that word, we're not vision casting in the kind of pom-poms champion everyone on, but we're actually trying to get people to see what kind of world that God has made, the goodness of his world, and then our part as humans to participate in the unfolding work of redeeming and making new. And so when you start painting that picture, that just frees people. And I can think of this woman who came in pretty fresh, and just the world kind of opened up for her in ways that I think, just pretty stunning, and she's gone on to do amazing things, actually.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I don't want to give details, otherwise some people that are listening will know who I'm talking about.
God does tend to show up